Hi folks, this is Tim Garman for SIT and this is NZDP101. We're going to take a look at layers. And over on the right you'll see I've created two additional layers to my image. We can see these are stacked up above the background layer. So when you think about layers, consider them like pages of a book, or perhaps transparent pages of a book, where we've got the background. Then on the second layer we've got a panel, and we can switch these on and off using the eye icon. So the panel is on the second layer, but everything else on that layer is transparent, so we're seeing through that layer to what's on the background. And that's also the case for the third layer, which has text. Now we can reorder these layers. So if we wanted to drag the text below the panel, and now we can't see it, but we can switch the panel off to make it visible. However, we can't drag it below the background because that's what the background layer is, always the background. So we can unlock that background layer though. So if we click the padlock icon, you'll notice now the layer has been renamed because it's no longer a background. We could drag the text right below the image. So the text is actually behind the image now. We can switch the panel off and we don't see the text. We can switch the image off and we've just got the text. Photoshop uses this checkerboard effect to indicate a page that has nothing on it, or a transparent background. So let's reorder these again. Now it's always a good idea to name our layers because we can have images that have multiple layers. So let's help ourselves or be reminded of what they are by giving them meaningful names. So we'll call the bottom one image. This second one we'll call panel. The third one has given it a name, which is the text that we typed. So we can leave it at that, or we could retype it if we wanted to. At the top of the layers palette we've got these icons. Now this is a way of filtering out layers that we don't want to work on. Now we've only got 3 here, so it's not many layers, but if we had lots of layers with different text on, we could just look at the text by hitting the text icon, and we just see layers with text on them. So that's a simple way, click again to return, a simple way of just working on layers that we need to work on. Keep in mind that when you want to work on a layer, you need to have it highlighted. If you wanted to edit the panel, the blue panel, we would need to have the blue panel layer selected, and we see it's highlighted. Now next down we've got blending modes. You'll see where it says normal, that's the default setting. Now I've got the panel selected, so as we go through these blending modes, many of them won't have much effect. It just depends on what you have on the layer as to what effect you'll get. Multiply will darken it. Color burn gives an interesting effect where we begin to see the clouds through that color, or we can have a different effect like overlay perhaps. You'll find blending modes in other places in Photoshop as well. Still with the panel selected, you see we have opacity, and we can reduce the opacity of that layer. You'll notice we also have fill, and that has the same effect. So what is the difference? Well, opacity is affecting everything on that layer, whereas fill is only affecting the elements on that layer. And in fact, if we've added some kind of effect or filter to the elements on the layer, it will only affect the elements and not the filter. So keep that in mind when using opacity and fill.